In the gate. And they're off. Lord Dunmore out very quickly. So is Three Georges flashing speed. These two hook up right away. Just in behind them comes Horizon Wildcat racing in between horses. Only 2 lengths off the pace. And Fix It Quick in the orange colors is not far behind. Chapoval settles in mid-pack with 6 to make up. 2 clear of Milbo Baggins. Giant Luther is next. And it's a long, long way to Twilight Time, who trails. Less than a half mile to go, and Lord Dunmore is pressed by Three Georges into the turn, with Horizon Wildcat 2 lengths back in third, and Fix It Quick racing in fourth, now 4 lengths off the lead. Then comes Chapoval, who's racing along the inside, now 7 lengths off the pace, with less than 3 furlongs to run. Milbo Baggins on the outside, and another 2 to Giant Luther there at the top of the stretch. Three Georges, Lord Dunmore joined on the outside by Horizon Wildcat, who's his own worst enemy, just needs to straighten up, does Horizon Wildcat. He and Three Georges go on with it. Horizon Wildcat, Three Georges, head and head for the wire. Horizon Wildcat on the outside, just in front. Here's the line. Photo finish. It's too close to call. Three Georges and Horizon Wildcat hit the wire together. In behind them, between Chapoval and Fix It Quick. Up next, race 2, post time in 23 minutes. And they're off. Jeffrey on the run, very quick away from there. So is P22, who's now up to take the lead. Shake the Dust comes away in third, headed now by Highland Echo into that third spot and coming after the top pair. Your Sweet Baby and Captain Willis are next. Walk the Cat, Caviar Cowboy, and Unusual Memories is 8 lengths off the lead. It's the heavy favorite P22 passing the half-mile pole, leading by a length. Highland Echo, Jeffrey on the run is in third. That group followed by Captain Willis, Shake the Dust, Your Sweet Baby in between them. Caviar Cowboy 4 deep, trying to make some headway on the extreme outside. Walk the Cat forced even wider around the far turn as Captain Willis drops back. Unusual Memories trails. A quarter of a mile to go. P22 is the target. 5 across the track are chasing, but at the top of the stretch, P22 has a clear-cut lead. Highland Echo along the inside. Outside of them, Caviar Cowboy making headway. Then Your Sweet Baby and Shake the Dust. It's all over. P22 is much too strong. Just ambling through the stretch to win by double digits. What a blowout. From nowhere, Captain Willis nails Caviar Cowboy to complete the exacta. Then Highland Echo. In the gate, and they're off. Very even start. Mayakama comes through along the inside to challenge for the lead with Naturally Blonde. Miss Michelada wasn't quick out of there, but is pretty fast now and up to take the lead. Our Lovin' Feelin' in the purple colors, one from the outside, then Spicy Ride and Be a Goldfish. 4 lengths covers them. Miss Michelada to the half-mile pole, 3/4 of a length. Mayakama protects the rail and comes back to re-engage. A length and a half, Naturally Blonde in third. Be a Goldfish takes fourth. Then Spicy Ride and Our Lovin' Feelin'. Less than 3/8 of a mile to go. Miss Michelada, Mayakama. They're joined by Naturally Blonde on the outside, who's a half length back, 3 deep third. Be a Goldfish has 3 to make up, 3 in front of Spicy Ride. And Our Lovin' Feelin', Mayakama cuts the corner and has the lead 3/16 from home. Miss Michelada trying hard. Be a Goldfish rallying up the fence. And then Naturally Blonde. But with a 16th of a mile to go, Mayakama is home free. Opening up at will. Good battle for second. Will go to Be a Goldfish. But Mayakama jogs 7 or 8. Be a Goldfish, Miss Michelada, and Naturally Blonde. Haywood completes the lineup. And they're off in the Valpredo Cal Cup Sprint. Haywood gets the first call. Big City Lights hustled hard for early speed. Smiling Beast moves up, and Smiling Beast is now head-and-head with Haywood and Clovis Connection at the back of the field. It will be Smiling Beast to the half-mile pole, leading a half length. Big City Lights puts his head into second. Then Haywood and Clovis Connection has 3 to make up. Into the far turn, Smiling Beast and Big City Lights. These two go on now. 2.5 more. Clovis Connection takes third, and Haywood drops back fourth. Less than 3 furlongs to travel, and Big City Lights takes over. Big City Lights in hand, in command. Smiling Beast, Clovis Connection on the outside there at the top of the stretch, and Big City Lights breezing through the stretch, towering over the competition as Clovis Connection moves into second. But it's a one-horse race. Big City Lights puts on a show this afternoon. Pratt and Mandela cruising home. Big City Lights by 8 lengths in the Valpredo Cal Cup Sprint. Clovis Connection was second best. The running time, 109.46 seconds. And in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Miles Finch, very quick away from the gate. Cullen J comes through along the inside, and Glass of Jameson is in the mix through the opening furlong, too. Hothead is right there as well. In fact, Hothead now takes a very slender advantage over Miles Finch, with James J. Braddock on the outside in third. At the rail, Cullen J is in fourth, only 2 lengths off the lead. A little trouble for Miles Finch there, steadying a bit between rivals. That group is followed by Got Soul. Master Jacques is down on the inside. A 3-wide Glass of Jameson now about 5 lengths off the lead, and 3 in front of Benny's Puzzle. They move around the far turn, and it's Hothead in front. Miles Finch settles into a nicer stride now, second, 2 clear of Cullen J at the rail in third. Then Got Soul fourth, 4 lengths to make up, followed by Master Jacques in the red cap at the top of the stretch. It's Hothead. Here's Cullen J coming through smartly now to challenge. These two are head and head at the 8th pole. Cullen J and Hothead nose to nose, a length and a half back to Miles Finch, and then Got Soul past the 16th. Cullen J and Antonio Fresu. Hothead, Ricky Gonzalez, here's the line. Photo finish goes to Cullen J. And the ride made the difference, coming through on the fence to nail Hothead. Behind them came Miles Finch and Got Soul. Devil Among Us. In the gate. And they're off. A bit of a bobble for Lonesome Stew, who did recover, but that couldn't have helped. Devil Among Us opens up 3 in a hurry. Bob's Blue Moon and Lonesome Stew are side by side. Behind them, Mr. Disrespectful, 4-6 lengths off the lead. Our Bucky Charm in the orange colors is next, a length in front of Duty First, and the distant trailer is Wind Ribbon. It's Devil Among Us, who sails past the half-mile pole with a 2.5 length lead. Lonesome Stew is clearly into second. Bob's Blue Moon in third. Our Bucky Charm, 4 lengths off the pace, followed by Duty First, who's down on the inside, 6 or 7 off them, 3 clear of Mr. Disrespectful, and Wind Ribbon at the back. Lonesome Stew has overhauled Devil Among Us at the top of the stretch, opens up a length and a half. Our Bucky Charm has a lot of work to do with 3/16 of a mile to go. Lonesome Stew, Devil Among Us fighting bravely along the inside. These two well clear. 6 back to Our Bucky Charm and Wind Ribbon. Devil Among Us, gutsy as can be, comes back and beats Lonesome Stew. What a game effort. Devil Among Us under Edwin Maldonado. Lonesome Stew was second. Our Bucky Charm third. Then it was between Wind Ribbon and Mr. Disrespectful. Pleasure, now ridden by Flavien Prat. Scratch number 4 is Satellite Heart. Post time in 24 minutes. We're in the gate. And they're off in the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf Sprint presented by John Deere. And Stay and Scam could not have had a better beginning, went straight to the front, but is now headed by Barbera, who's intent on setting that pace. And it's a quick one as Barbera scoots clear 3 lengths. Stay and Scam will track comfortably from second. Then it's Moment's Pleasure in the Red Silks third, followed by Elegant Sway fourth. Shocking Gray is racing in fifth, some 5 lengths off the lead. Safa is just behind her. The 2 trailers, Andiamo Ragazza and Quantum Energy, is at the back of the field. It is Barbera heading toward the quarter pole, leading by a length, tracked intently by Stay and Scam second. Shocking Gray moves into third, while 3 wide. Moment's Pleasure is tucked just behind them in fourth. Safa on the outside has 5 lengths to make up with a quarter of a mile to go. 3 of them across the course. Stay and Scam in between horses. On the outside, Shocking Gray is posing a big threat, and Shocking Gray cruises to the front inside the final 1/8 of a mile. 4 lengths back, Elegant Sway inside of her. Moment's Pleasure. It's Shocking Gray and the Valpredo Silks to win the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf Sprint presented by John Deere. Race 8 is up next. It's in the gate. And they're off. Mark the Money Man is very quick away from the gate, but a host of challengers, in fact 6 or 7 of them, line up for the lead. Here's Western Freedom on the inside and Santa Barbarian. Day at the Track in between them is quicker than all. So it's Day at the Track in front, checks on the way, moves up to take second. At the rail, Western Freedom, Santa Barbarian is racing in fourth. Packs a Punch a close-up fifth between horses. Petrified is next. Mark the Money Man, who broke on top, is 4 lengths off the lead. Then Citizen Barrett inside Oscar's Mark, 2 clear of Dancing Dylan. The Gypsy Cowboy and Jenny's Tiz is far behind. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Western Freedom makes a move along the inside to take the lead from Checks on the Way. Those 2 stride for stride. Day at the Track, 3 deep, a length back third. Then Packs a Punch in fourth there at the top of the stretch. Checks on the Way and Western Freedom nose to nose, neither giving an inch. Checks on the Way, handridden at the rail. Western Freedom still inseparable. 2 clear of Day at the Track. Western Freedom, Checks on the Way. Checks on the Way, asked to run late, and Checks on the Way, and Mario Gutierrez to win it. Western Freedom was second. Day at the Track third. Packs a Punch won the battle for fourth. Coalinga Road and the legendary Harris Farm Silks takes up his spot. And they're off in the Unusual Heat Turf Classic presented by City National Bank. Fast Buck in the center of the course is out alertly. Jimmy Blue Jeans at the rail and takes 3. Those 3 battle it out through the opening furlong. Then On the Whim was a little bit keen in between horses. A little bit keen would be an understatement now. Tugging pretty fiercely and now calms down 3 lengths off the lead. Then comes We Can, who's 3 deep. Old Pal settles nicely between horses, and None Above the Law is down at the rail. Barely Functional is next, some 9 lengths off the lead. Another couple back to Coalinga Road. Keep moving on second to last, and Aligato will do his best running later. He's close to 20 lengths off the pace. They swing onto the backstretch and takes 3, opens up a 2-length lead. Fast Buck, though, is right on his heels second now, cuts back into the margin. On the Whim continues an eager customer. Pereira can wait no longer, has to let him go. Down at the rail comes Jimmy Blue Jeans racing in fourth. We Can on the outside, and Old Pal is in between those 2, 4 lengths off the lead. Then None Above the Law, racing 2 clear of Barely Functional. Coalinga Road, Keep Moving On, and 4 more to Aligato. They move into the far turn, and On the Whim makes a 3-wide bid after them. Fast Buck in between horses. Take 3. We Can in the blue launches a 4-wide bid. Old Pal's got some run. He's just behind horses looking for a clear seam. He's about to find it at the top of the stretch. We're On the Whim head and head with Fast Buck. Old Pal barely functional. Here's Colinga Road starting to storm home down the center of the race course, wide open at the 16th. Old Pal trying to get to On the Whim. Old Pal On the Whim. Old Pal, a true professional, wins the Unusual Heat Turf Classic presented by City National Bank. Colinga Road continued that stellar rally. Allegato came from far back to be in a battle with On the Whim. 10th is the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby. It goes off in 22 minutes. Caught him. And they're off in the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby. And I'm a Bad Boy is going to the front. Style Cat matches strides in the opening furlong. Got him, caught him is up close, as is our Heisman, and Drop him in between those two. Just in behind this group comes Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy right on horses' heels as they line up. Down at the rails, Shea Brennan is second to last, but only 4 lengths off the lead, and another 6 or 7 to Accidental Genius, who trails. It's Drop 'em, Style Cat, stride for stride, and a 3-wide. Got him, caught him, keeps the pressure on them. Here's our Heisman in the pink silks under a tight hold in fourth, just a length and a half off the lead. At the rail comes I'm a Bad Boy. Shea Brennan is also tugging pretty keenly. He's in between horses and moving up. Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy outside of him. 3 lengths covers all of them, and another 8 to Accidental Genius. It's Style Cat leading into the far turn. He's a neck in front of Drop 'em second. Now another length and a half. Got him, caught him, trying to keep pace third. Our Heisman is just behind them, traveling kindly in fourth, just 2 lengths off the lead, looking for some racing room. He's got some run. Another 3 behind him. Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy is next on the outside of Shea Brennan, and then I'm a Bad Boy. They have a quarter of a mile to go. Drop them in between horses. Style Cat running a big race down at the rail. Just behind them, our Heisman still awaiting racing room. Now Shea Brennan gets going. Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy on the outside. They line up in the final 1/8 of a mile. Shea Brennan, Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy. Style Cat, stymied behind them is our Heisman. It's Shea Brennan or Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy. Here's the line. Shea Brennan has won the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby. What a day for Antonio Fresu. Whiskey, Gin, and Brandy lost a heartbreaker in defeat. Goes in. We're in the gate. And they're off in the Leanne Howard California Cup Oaks. It was a smooth and even start. We, the Hobby, in the center of the course is out alertly. Less is more. Those 2 match strides through the early stages. Chili Philly comes away racing in third. Pavel is appealing, racing on the outside of Take Another Card, who's taken a strong hold of 4 lengths off the lead. Then comes Sunset Grazin, racing on the inside of Me So Fancy in the pink. In the air tonight, just went by those 2. It's another 3 back to Musical Number, who races a length in front of Tequila and Therapy. At the back of the field are Hey Jesse, and down on the inside, Big Soiree is at the back. Some 15 to 18 lengths covers the field. They straighten up for the run down the backstretch, and Less is More is the boss. Over We, the Hobby, a length and a half back second. Then Chili Philly just behind the top pair with a half mile left to travel. Another 2 back to Pavel is appealing, racing in fourth. Then In the Air Tonight on the outside of Take Another Card, who inches up down at the rail, 5 lengths off the lead. Me So Fancy in the pink is next, joined on the outside by Hey Jesse, who's trying to make some headway, 7 lengths off the leaders. Then it's Sunset Grazin, followed by Musical Number, Big Soiree outside of that pair, and Tequila and Therapy. They're at the top of the stretch, and We, the Hobby, on the outside is right to Less is More, takes the lead at the 8th pole, 2 lengths behind them. Pavel is appealing. Now Chili Philly angles out for the drive. And in the center, here comes Me So Fancy. Me So Fancy is flying with Take Another Card. Take Another Card, Me So Fancy. Take Another Card. Another outstanding effort as she wins the Leanne Howard Cal Cup Oaks. Me So Fancy was a gallant second, and in behind them, several battling out the minor awards, including Tequila and Therapy, who was on the scene late.
Hi, everybody, and a happy Sunday morning here on the West Coast to each and every one of you. Delighted that you decided to join us. And as you just saw, big news of the day, pick six carryover on an 11-race card, $52,000 already in the kitty. As a matter of fact, yesterday, nobody was even able to pick 5 out of 6. The payout went down to 4 out of 6. Pretty amazing, the long shots that we had, and it looks like another good card today. To help us decipher the card is a good friend of mine. He's the equine scout here in Southern California. His name, Larry Zap. Larry, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thanks for having me, Tom. And yeah, yesterday, Cal Cup Day, we all enjoyed the big fields, the quality of horse racing. We do breed a good Calbred in California. But, looking back, it was all hittable. We just had to figure it out a little closer, but let's hope we can help the fans today. 52,000 pick six carryover. It's always fun to shoot for that.
Well, Old Pal was the single, and like I said, no one could really connect the dots after that. But let's talk about Old Pal, because he's obviously a lightly raced, improving horse. Mark Glad is the trainer. I mean, he looked like a winner every step of the way yesterday, and you knew him when he was a baby.
Yeah, when he was a yearling, he was on our super short list, and he brought, I think, 160, and we were on him, but blinkers on. They pursued him the right way and got the final bid, and they got the horse. Now, he's the son of Grayson, who had a huge day yesterday, and he sired Tough Sunday, who actually almost had a huge day.
Correct.
But had to be DQ'd. But Old Pal is the kind of horse that has been a lot of handicappers calling him a hanger, because he's a nibbler. He gets seconds, he gets thirds, he's got a couple wins. But all of a sudden, yesterday, he was pulling himself down halfway down the backside. It's like, oh, Old Pal's showing up today.
Correct.
Maybe he's got him strong enough for that really large frame of his. Great training job. Mark Glad, what can you say about Mark Glad? Mark Glad is owning Southern California. Every type of racing, from the claiming game, allowance, stakes, he's doing it all, and he's becoming a premier trainer in Southern California.
And a son of Mr. Big put on a big display of ability yesterday. Big City Lights, 104 Buyer speed figure. Granted, there weren't many horses competing against him, but speculation is he might be heading to Dubai for the Golden Shaheen Sprint. We'll see if that in fact develops. But he was rock solid yesterday, as he is almost every time, unless he runs against the chosen run.
Well, you're a paddock guy, so you've seen how 100%. Enormous his body is. And
all the Mr. Bigs look good. They kind of have the same body type.
There's a nice Mr. Big running later today from Mark Glad, actually. But Mr. Big, he's going to be sorely missed in the California stallion ranks. But Big City Lights, Richard Mandela, when he gets a horse like this, I don't think there's a better trainer in the country that can prepare a horse for a big race like Richard Mandela.
Larry, you and I think we're fortunate enough to escape the tragic wildfires that we had just 6 miles away from the location where we're broadcasting from, San Anita Racetrack. Do you know anybody that was unfortunately negatively impacted by the fires? There's a lot of people who lost their water, lost their power, but the good news is they still have their home standing. But there's so much people that were affected in our community. Do you know?
There really was. I mean, I know Mario Gutierrez lost his house, and I've only heard stories of other people losing their houses. I know some people in Pacific Palisades that were greatly affected, but it was tragic. And I actually was up in Buellton, Solvang, visiting the farm where we keep our mares, Kingfisher Farm, and the horses. And I was heading back that Tuesday morning. I ended up staying until last Sunday. I stayed an extra 4 or 5 days. Luckily, where I live just south in the mountain, little east of the track, and luckily we didn't even lose any power, but it was smoky when I got home, I'll tell you that, and could have been much worse. The firefighters, they're just, what can you say about them, Tom?
Buellton, Solvang, Santa Ynez Valley, that's some beautiful country up there. It's very accessible via car. It's horse country as well. Like you said, you've got a lot of farms up there. Some that were owned by Marty Wygott in the past that have now been sold, but it's really pretty country.
It is really pretty country. In fact, I mentioned Tough Sunday. I went and visited Tough Sunday. He was still at Nick Alexander's place before going over to Eclipse, which is a new stallion. They have a stallion roster over there, including Storm the Court, a friend of mine from the Pete Erden barn.
Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner.
But Kingfisher Farm and Eclipse, they were part of the big parcel of land in Marty Wygott, who should never be forgotten, because what he did for California breeding and racing for many decades. We have to remember these people, even when they're no longer participating in California. They keep it going, and you always hope the future is somebody else coming in and infusing more money, more into the stallions, et cetera, because our breeding industry, as we saw yesterday, is very strong here in California.
Speaking of the breeding industry, Larry, and the CTBA, they've had a sale going on this coming Tuesday at Pomona. I saw some people carrying the catalog around yesterday. Are you either going to go to that sale and or any other sales maybe around the country in the upcoming months?
Absolutely. The 2-year-old season starts in March in Ocala, but I told Doug Burge I will be there, because we bought a couple Sir Prancelots there last year, a short yearling and a short 2-year-old.
He's making a big impression in a short amount of time.
He's doing a phenomenal job. We have a nice filly prancing through Paris, but we've supported the sire, because Adrian Gonzalez, who was actually around yesterday, he's brought in a lot of these newer stallions to California, and one worth mentioning, and because I saw one out of a mare named Nothing But Heat when I was there last week. Name of the horse is Halliday.
Okay.
It's a grade 1 winner,
Kinda
won the
remember.
4-star day for Todd Pletcher at Saratoga. It's a son of Warfront.
And he's standing in California now.
Yes, he's a Warfront out of a Tappan mare, so that's infusing
There's some
some
good
pretty
bloodlines.
serious bloodlines. But I mean, I'm excited about the breeding industry in California and where it's going. So let's just hope we can keep supporting it, and got to keep mares here and keep owners here.
You should be excited because we have equine scout Larry Zap as our seminar guest today. He's going to rattle through all 11 races, show some workouts, show some replays, and tell us who he likes. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on a beautiful Sunday here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, turf firm, rail on the turf at 10 feet. We have a pick 6 carryover today, more than $52,000. Here are the early changes. In the first, number 4, Wild Rover Lady. Make the jockey Diego Herrera. Kazushi Kimura will not ride today or tomorrow. Race 2, scratch number 3, I Light. Note that for Morning Addiction, the jockey is Armando Ayuso. In the third race, no scratches or jockey changes. Race 4, scratch 8, Poker Alice. Fourth race, take out the 8. Rider to be announced for number 1, Why Behave. Middle pick 4 is offered on the 5th. Scratch 1, Tiama. Scratch 3, My Little Runaway. And scratch number 4, Ivory Moon. 1, 3, and 4, all scratched out of the 5th. In the 6th, we have that $2 pick 6 with the carryover of $52,000. Number 2, Affair, make the jockey Flavien Pratt. Race 7, number 4, Triple Diamonds, will be ridden by Umberto Rispoli. The $3 all-turf pick 3 starts with the 7th, as does the late pick 5. The 8th is the grade 3 La Cañada Stakes. No scratches or jockey changes. The 9th, the grade 3 Las Cienegas. Number 5, Ma Ray's Girl, the jockey Mike Smith. Scratch number 7, Hamwood Flyer. Pick 3 starts with the 9th. Late double begins with race 10. Number 6, Epion. The jockey is Diego Herrera. Diego Herrera rides number 6, Epion. And 7, Ultimate Authority regularly races with Lasix. $5 late double starts with the 10th. Super high 5 wagering offered in the 11th. Number 10, Gray Thunder, make the jockey Diego Herrera. Those are the changes on today's card. Remember that we do have Dollar Day tomorrow. Special holiday racing tomorrow. Dollar beers, dollar sodas, $2 hot dogs tomorrow. And we have the Coast to Coast Pick 5 every Saturday and Sunday, and for the rest of January on Fridays too, combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park. Special Coast to Coast on Friday, the 24th and 31st. We regularly have this on Saturdays and Sundays. 57 minutes to post for race 1. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today, equine scout Larry Zap. Ladies and gentlemen, correction to that jockey change in race 11. Race 11, number 10, Gray Thunder. That should read Tiago Pereira. Tiago Pereira will ride number 10, Gray Thunder, in race 11. Tiago Pereira rides Gray Thunder in the 11th.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Larry Zap. He's going to help us analyze all 11 races, which is critical today because on the last 6 races, we have a $2 pick 6 carryover of $52,000. But first things first, Larry, let's take a look at the 50-cent early pick 5, where we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies. The turf rails today are at 10 feet. Race 1 is also a split of race number 3. Field of 8, number 4, Wild Rover Lady, now going to be ridden by Diego Herrera. Kaz Kamura off all mounts today. Morning line favorite and current betting choice at even money. Number 7, No Bad Beats. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, let's take a look at a replay for number 3, Pam and Tina. She's only ran one time, I should say, back on November 16th. She's going to break from post position number 7 in this replay and be wearing yellow silk. She's got a lot of trouble in this race, so pay attention to her. It's going to be number 7, Pam and Tina, back on November 16th. And let's listen to Larry Comas describe the action back then.
They're off. Parle was very slow to begin. Good start by Special Look, who goes out to the front. Magali is away running in second. Rice Paddy behind them in third. And then comes Pura Vida Princesa from the far outside. In behind them, Headstrong Ways. American Privilege is right there. Between those two, Stormy Paradise goes up in tight quarters. Then Madame Coco to the outside. They're followed by Pam and Tina, Parle, and the trailer's Madame Secretary. Round the turn, Special Look out there by 2. In the clear from Magali in second. Pura Vida Princesa goes up on the outside third. Rice Paddy is fourth as they come to the top of the stretch. Special Look and Kyle Frey, the one to catch as they come to the 8th pole. Magali draws up alongside. Pura Vida Princesa closing down the middle. Now it's Magali and Pura Vida Princesa. Magali on the inside. Pura Vida Princesa still coming. These two down to the wire. It's going to be another photo. Very close.
Larry, as we're going to watch the gallop out here, we're going to see Pam and Tina in the yellow silks try and catch up with the leaders. As I mentioned, this distance of the replay we're watching was 5 furlongs. Today's distance is 6 furlongs. You also had your eye on number 2 in that replay, who is Headstrong Ways, who's going to be running in race number 3. We'll get to that later. Why'd you want to show that replay, Larry?
Well, because it's all about intent. And when you go from 5/8 to at Del Mar to 3/4 or 6.5 at Santa Anita, I think it's a totally different race.
I agree.
Those races are decided way too early in the race. She never got involved. It was almost like, let's get her a feel of American racing. And that's what they did. They gave her a good feel of American racing. She's by one of these top European sires who's made a huge splash. Mehmet, he just throws winner after winner, mostly sprinters. And I just thought the intent there was to get a good race in her. We're going to actually see her in action when we do the 3rd race in a workout that her stablemate's in. I just think she's the right horse. 10-1 morning line, and I'm looking over, and she's 3-1 right now. So you know what? Let's remember, I'm trying to find prices for the fans and winners. She figured to get that. She's got Rispoli. She's just, to me, the right horse. She's definitely going to have to get her running shoes on to catch No Bad Beats, who did not embarrass herself, even though she took a lot of money in both her races. She lost to Artisma, who ran monstrous, just getting beat in the stake last weekend. Yep. So basically, she's kept very good company. Look forward. Okay, she won the stake. She lost to the top 2 finishers in that stake, Tom. So, I just wanted to mention 6 Shore Lodge was schooling yesterday for Brian Corner. I wanted to use this horse. She's got a beautiful body. I think she's a little on the crooked side, but Pratt's on her, and she's the other horse. But I had you want to give me 2, Tom? 3-7 for me in race 1.
Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting the abbreviated sprint distance of 5.5 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares. Starter optional claiming types restricted to horses and horsemen based in Northern California since January 1st, 2024. Scratch the 3 I-Light. Make the jockey number 4, Morning Addiction, Amando Ayuso. Leaves us with a field of 7. Number 2, Broadway Tiger is the 5-2 morning line favorite. These Northern California races are tricky, Larry. Who do you like?
You know what? I'm a novice at these kind of races. You know,
we all are.
We're all going to have to figure it out. But the 2 Broadway Tiger lures J.J. Hernandez. Good enough for me. The horse loves the distance. 5 out of 6 in the money with 2 wins. Just everything points on the drop that this horse should be super live for a very good trainer, Manuel Badilla, who trains for Ron Charles, I think, almost exclusively. I was going to say up north, but now here. And I just made this horse the horse to beat, and the other horse I went with here was on the outside, the 8-horse Honorable Gal, another horse that has 3 wins at the distance. I think there might be if my top pick gets cooked on the lead, I think this horse can pass horses. Honorable Gal's a nice 8-1, and Kyle Frey's looking to get going this meet, and I'm going to try to help him here. So we'll go 2-8 in a very tough second race.
As mentioned previously, race 3 is a split of race number 1, which means we're going 6 furlongs in the turf course for maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies. A good field of 8. Number 4, Canto del Terra is the 6-5 morning line favorite, invading from Ireland. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, as you mentioned earlier, Canto del Terra worked on January 5th on the training track in company with none other than Pam and Tina. So let's take a look at that workout, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. That's Canto del Terra on the inside, Pam and Tina on the outside. Why'd you want to show this work?
Well, I wanted to show Pam and Tina as well as Canto della Terra. Now, if you don't watch all the workouts, and a lot of us have time on our hands, so I do, this was actually a work designed to give Pam and Tina a target. Canto del Terra had a 59 and change a few works before this, and I think did her serious work then. But I just wanted to show the 2 fillies, and even though it's going to be obvious in the lane that the winner of this drill is Pam and Tina, I think it's by design. I think Phil's got Canto del Terra exactly where he wants her, and he was just using her as the target. And, you know, she held her own. She gets outworked, but this isn't a race. This is just Phil is a conscientious trainer, as we all know, and a great turf trainer. So I think he was using this more to give the other filly target and just to keep this filly sound and happy, and she's ready for a race, so he just wanted to put one more work in her. I think it's a very solid work for both fillies, and I think they're both going to show up today. That all said, Tom, we bought Headstrong Ways at Keeneland September a little over a year ago. That's the rail horse, and we should have told them to watch her trip when we showed the Pam and Tina race, because she was in the same race, and she had a world of trouble that day. We go from Tiago to Rispoli, and Rispoli's got great hands, and I think this filly, we want to route her, but this filly kind of pulls a lot, and she's very aggressive in the morning, and Richie Baltus is like, let's give her one more sprint. And when we originally drew the race, we didn't draw the rail, and we got the rail today, and the rail's not done well at this distance so far this meet. But I think Rispoli's going to hopefully get her out of the gate, get her to settle, and make one run. And I think if you take into the all of the trouble she had, just 12-1 with Rispoli is very attractive, and I can't pick against one of my own, Tom. So I'm going 1-4 here, and just hoping we can manage the rail trip here.
Race number 4 is for $8,000 claimers going 1 mile on the main track. Fillies and mares. Scratch the 8. Poker Alice leaves us with a field of 8. Down on the inside, number 1, Why Behave is the 5-2 morning line favorite. The jockey still to be announced. Give us your thoughts on race 4, Larry.
Well, I think I picked the 8 and it's scratched, so I'm going to go. Why Behave's my other horse. The last time George Papadromo sprinted her a couple of times and stretched her out to a mile, she won. I see the pattern hopefully redeveloping here. I think on the stretch out, she'll be keen. She'll get in the race. She's 1-2 at 4 at the distance. And I mention that a lot because I think that's very important. And I guess that's my sole pick in this race. Number 1, Why Believe, in another race that kind of a difficult race because these horses go in and out of form. But I think this filly stretching out and loves the distance is the right horse, number 1. why behave from me?
Race number 5 on today's 11 race card begins a 50-cent middle pick 4, and we kick things off for the 50-cent middle pick 4, sprinting 6 furlongs on the turf course for fillies and mares, $32,000 claimers, 3 scratches. Scratch the 1, 3, and 4 leaves us with a field of 5. Number 2, Rose Dawson from the aforementioned Phil D'Amato barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite, likely to go lower with those scratches. Give us your thoughts on race 5, Larry.
Well, I had originally picked it, Tam's Little Angel, the 5 over the 4 Ivory Moon, because I figured she's all in or she's going to run bad. Instead, she scratches. Probably worth more as a broodmare, and they didn't want to lose her today. So now I hope there's enough speed for Tam's Little Angel, because I loved her race 2 back. Her mile race, you just watched that race, and the winner of that race came back and won. Tam's Little Angel is a bet, to me, a better one-turn horse. Maybe, and that's what she gets to do today. She's 1 for 1 at the distance. There I go again. Hector Barrios, he beat me in the last race yesterday.
That was a bad beat.
And he kind of bullied his way through a tired horse, and he kind of earned it. I was like looking for the inquiry. It didn't show up. But Hector Barrios, when he lays down a ride, he looks as good as anybody when things go his way.
He's got it figured out. He stays inside and then tips outside coming down the lane, and that's really the key to turf racing.
He's an improving jockey, so anytime I can like a horse and he's on it, I think it's an added situation for me. So number 5, Tam's Little Angel, ends up being my only pick in this race, and I just hope there'll be just enough pace to set it up for her. She can sit close enough, and I think she likes the distance. Let's go with the 5, Tam's Little Angel.
Race number 6 is when the fireworks begin. It's the $2 pick 6 with a carryover today of $52,000. We kick things off, sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track for maiden claiming fillies and mares in for a $20,000 tag. Make the jockey a number 2, a fair Flavian Pratt. Number 4, I'm Still In It, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. We talked about Mark Latt before. Here he is again. He's always a dominating figure when we're handicapping these races. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite?
You have to go thumbs up, because the way Spirit Rules dominated that field, and this horse was clearly second best that day. And then Spirit Rules not only beats winners, but wins a starter race. I mean, so I think that just makes this horse an absolute standout here. And on a lot of my tickets, I might single the horse. Mandela cutting back in distance with the 2-horse Affair. Just to me, I like the move, cutting back to 7/8 from 2-turn race. She hung in there deep into the stretch last time. Nothing creative for me here, Tom, but I'm going to go 4-2 to kick things off.
Race 7 begins 2 very popular wagers, both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all-turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. And in race 7, we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for Calbred allowance optional claiming types, restricted to 3-year-olds, non-winners of 1 other than a good field of 10 here. Make the jockey number 4, Triple Diamonds, Umberto Rispoli, who's also the 5-2 morning line favorite. Mark Glatt again. We're faced with another Glatt. What do you say here, Larry?
Well, Frank Bullitt, I'm picking Frank Bullitt. I love the horse. I think you guys were having a handicapping contest that day at Lozelle, and I didn't play it. And Frank Bullitt wins for me. I loved the exacta that day, and they're both in this race. Mr. Mahapishu is also in this race. And then the following race, we won with Polythene Pam. Little Beatles Abbey Road reference, but I should have been in the contest that day. Shoulda, woulda, didn't. So,
well, rather than you talk about it, let's watch Frank Bullitt in his last race over at Los Alamitos. He added blinkers this particular afternoon. He's going to break from post position number 5. He's going to be easy to spot because he goes wire to wire back on December 14th. So let's listen to Michael Rowe to describe the action and watch both Frank Bullitt as well as Mr. Machu Picchu, who finished the second. They're both going on turf today, but let's watch what they did over at Los Al in their last start.
Ready, racing. Paula's Candyman came out a length or 2 behind them. Frank Bullitt wins the start. Leads from Ain't Behavin' and charms way along the inside. Mr. Machu Picchu between horses just off the pace. Irish Legacy 5th with a gap of 2.5 lengths. Don't have another. He's followed by Sonio DeVito and 7 lengths to Paula's Candyman. Charms away on the inside, almost level with Frank Bullitt. Frank Bullitt just in front with a half mile to go. From Charms Away and Mr. Machu Picchu. Ain't Behavin' running 4th outside Irish Legacy, then Don't Have Another, 7 off the lead. 5 lengths to Sonio Divino and 7 more to Paula's Candyman. 5/16 to travel. It's Frank Bullitt getting away by 1 length. Mr. Machu Picchu ranging after him now. They kick well clear of the rest. Charms Away drifting wide as 3rd, followed by Irish Legacy. 3/16 to go. Mr. Machu Picchu trying to get to Frank Bullitt, but Frank has a good kick. Frank Bullet moves away again at the 8th pole. He's 2 lengths in front from Mr. Machu Picchu. 6 lengths away the rest, headed by Charms Away. Frank Bullet in control. Mr. Machu Picchu drifting over to the rail, well beaten in second. And Frank Bullet wins as a first-time gelding with blinkers on by 3.
First time gelding, blinkers on, 110 flat basically for 6 furlongs for Frank Bullet. A lot of reasons to think he might even improve off that effort today.
Yeah, you didn't mention the gelding part, but Mr. Rona did, and that was big reason. This horse just looked phenomenal last time outside the paddock, so I went after the horse, and there's no reason to believe this horse won't handle the grass. I mean, grazing out of a tribal rule mare just whispers any surface will be no problem. You know, you mentioned Mark Ladd. He's got the horse to beat in Triple Diamonds because Cullen J came back and made that horse look good. And Cullen J was very impressive the other day. And obviously, on this exercise, we only give out 2 horses. I'm not leaving out Triple Diamonds, but I'm not leaving out the 7 Binging for Antonio Garcia. I don't know if you've noticed the trend of Antonio Garcia horses, but if I didn't know any better, they like to set up some gambles every once in a while. I have a horse with him. We had to scratch it yesterday, got cast. The horse is fine. But this horse almost got the money last time.
27-1.
27-1. It will be a lot lower today. His good buddy Mario Gutierrez back aboard. And I tell you, when this horse changed leads last time, this horse really started extending himself and going from that 5 furlongs to 6. I just couldn't leave it out. So I'm going 2-7 in another. That's a good card today, Tom. Very competitive race number 7.
Excellent card, including race 8, which is the first of 2 stakes races on today's card. Race 8 also begins the 50-cent late pick 4. It's the La Cañada Stakes, a grade 3 event for fillies and mares, going a mile and a 16th on the main track, a field of 6, and number 6, Cavalieri from the Bob Baffert barn is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Done nothing wrong in her first 2 starts. What do you expect today?
Well, 3 horses. It's a 3-horse race, and I'm leaving out on this exercise the favorite you just mentioned, Cavalieri, who scratched opening day out of the La Brea. I don't know if Baffert just thought I got enough arsenal in that race because he had a couple in there. He ended up running second with Splendora, but Cavalieri just has a pattern to me as a horse that maybe Bob's having a hard time keeping 100% sound. Even though the works look solid, I mean, a couple 58s and a 112. I went with the 2-horse, Chattelist. This is a graded stakes winner, won the Chandelier over this track, and I think that's the key. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile, this horse got just the worst trip ever. And then you see the horse win the Indiana Oaks, so it's won 2 graded stakes races. But what I like is how she trains at Santa Anita. I almost showed one of her works because she just gets over this track beautifully. This is our guy Mark Ladd again, hottest trainer on the grounds. She needed her last race. She was ranking the American Oaks. It just didn't work out for her. I just think she loves this track, and she gets her track today. Inside horse Alpha Bella was running down Hope Road and just missed in a Bayacoa. She's an improving Justify, and these Justifies just get better and better. It's hard to leave them off once they start getting good. I hate leaving off the Baffert for this, but you gave me 2 slots. I'm going 2-1, race number 8, the La Cañada.
Race number 9 is our second stakes race on the card. It's the grade 3 La Cienega Stakes for fillies and mares coming down the hillside turf course. 6.5 furlongs coming down the hill. It also begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. Scratch the 7 Hamwood Flyer. Make the jockey on number 5 Ma Ray's Girl, Mike Smith, the morning line favorite. Tupi from the Graham Morrison barn, 1 for 1 coming down the hill so far. 1 race since then back at Aqueduct. You expect a repeat performance today, Larry?
You know, Tom, I think Flavian Pratt's odds on to win the Eclipse Award.
I sure hope so. He deserves it.
I think Irad Ortiz knows he deserves it. When Irad Ortiz wins the Saratoga Riding title, he congratulates Flavian Pratt for breaking the stakes record over there.
And money won.
He just, everybody's aware. Well, Flavian Pratt, who rode the Unzip Me beautifully by going to the lead back on September 28th, went to New York to ride this filly in the autumn days, and I think he made some bad decisions that day. He got her behind horses. She wasn't comfortable. I think he learned that let her run. And I think with a beautiful draw today on the outside, even if somebody else tries to take the lead early away from her, I don't think he's going to get in her way today. I just think the draw And Flavian, it's his third time riding her. I think he truly knows her now. Makes her good. I think it's going to make her really, really tough in here. And her competition to me is the one horse Just Nails, but who's never been worse than second in 3 tries at the distance. But the rail is not the best place to be, but she will show up. She's a really improving 6-year-old mare, daughter of Twirling Candy. For me, I think it's a 2-horse race. Nadette might come flying late if they go too fast, but it's 6-1 for me in a, I wouldn't say overly competitive race, because I think if the 6 breaks and everything goes her way, Tupi's going to be really tough in here.
And good luck to the connections of number 1, Just Nails, Button Stables, and George Hickard. Certainly ran her against the boys last time at Del Mar. She didn't disgrace herself. You can see she's on a good improving by her speed figure pattern, but the rail is a bit of a detriment. Race number 10 begins the $5 late daily double with a reduced 15% takeout as well. It's for fillies and mares going 1 mile on the main track. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Make the jockey on number 6, Epione Diego Herrera. The morning line favorite at 6-5 is number 4, Halone from the Bob Baffert barn. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Larry, we want to show a workout for Halone. Here it is right now in company back on January 5th right here at the Great Race Place. Why'd you want to show this workout?
Are you familiar with the other filly in the workout?
A little bit.
She's
okay.
She's okay. She's won grade 1 races. She's a nice filly. She's this filly.
The Del Mar debutante. Is that right?
Yes,
yeah.
She won the Del Mar debutante, and she's coming off the win in the Starlet, which used to be a grade 1. Now it's a grade 2.
Yes.
Let's face it, Bob Baffert knows how to test his horses. I just mentioned about 10 minutes ago how good these Justifies are capable of getting. Took this filly a while to put it all together. She was second to her stablemate Splendora, who was second in the grade 1 La Brea, and then she just totally annihilated a maiden special weight field last time. And look at her, Tom. She's digging in.
Look at the exercise rider.
I'm not sure what's going on there. But you know what? All I know
there's cameras everywhere. Let's face it. You know what I mean?
She's outworking a grade 1 winner here.
100%.
I mean, how can you go against her? You can't. Great work. Daughter of Justify. She's 4. She's lightly raced. She's out of an APND mare, who I think's been a good productive mare. It just makes her kind of a standout here. The other horse I'm using is I don't know if he's the lieutenant for Baffert, but he's something like that. Tim Yakteen, who's really had a breakout year or 2.
He used to be his assistant many years ago.
And he worked for Charlie Winningham.
He sure
and he's
did.
really had a breakout year.
Yes,
he's got high-level horses.
Johannes,
he's doing really well with them, and good for him, because this is a guy who shows up every day, and he's paid his dues. And Ultimate Authority, she was second to Accuracy, who did not fire in the La Brea, but had won 2 in a row very impressively with big speed numbers. This is a quality filly, and I think it's those 2 horses. They just look like they outclassed the field. 4-7 for me in race number 10.
And take note, if you're looking in the racing form or in the official program, number 7, Ultimate Authority, make sure that you indicate that she's a regular light 6 user. You heard Frank Miramati mention that during the scratches that he rattled off just a few minutes ago. We close out the day, but we don't close out the week. That's because tomorrow, Holiday Monday, we do have racing, 10 races starting at noon Pacific time. But first things first, in race 11 today, we offer $1 super high 5 wagering for Calbred maiden special weight 3-year-olds going 1 mile on the main track. Number 6, No Poking Around, is a first-time gelding. Number 10, Great Thunder, make the jockey Diego Herrera. Number 4, Fairly Fond of You, is the 6-5 morning line favorite. Jeff Siegel thinks Mark Glatt's going to have a big day. What say you about the nightcap, Larry?
I saw Fairly Fond of You schooling yesterday. You talk about how good looking a lot of these Mr. Bigs are. This is a gorgeous. Go down if you're at the track today and look at this 3-year-old colt by Mr. Big. He's out of an Into Mischief mare who's quickly becoming a top broodmare sire, as well as the sire we know him to be. The horse to beat, there's no doubt, but going a mile on the grass first time out isn't always the easiest thing. So I'm using the horse second, but Tom, every time I've done your show, I'm trying to get one of those $50, $60 horses, and there's only one way of doing so.
By putting it on top.
Putting it on top. And I went with the 11 horse Riding By, and I'll tell you why. Big improvement second time out when it stretched out on the grass, ran evenly, but I think Diego Herrera was trying to get to know the horse that day, and it looked to me like this horse had a little more in the tank, and the workouts have been pretty solid for this horse. You know, the Ian Krujak that won yesterday's first race came out of this race.
Yes.
So this might be an actually strong race. And I looked up the mother Gliding By Artie Schiller. She started her career back east, and she ended up out here, I think, in Baltus's barn. But she made over $250,000, tried a couple of stakes, and had some quality to her. So this horse was meant to be a pretty good horse. He's a 3-year-old gelding. He was 105-1 last time. I'll take the 20-1 morning line on him and just hope for the best and hope that he can get enough speed to run at. But I really think Riding By is an improving horse. So I will go 11-4 to end the day and try to get that $50 horse.
And one correction to what I said, setting up this race, number 10, Gray Thunder, make the jockey Tiago Pereira. That was my mistake. Tiago Pereira rides number 10, Gray Thunder. Larry, before we let you go, and we only got a couple minutes left, I wanted to ask you about the NC2A championship game tomorrow night. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. The reason why I want to ask you is you're an alum of Indiana University, IU. The only 2 losses your football team had this year were to each of those teams, Ohio State and Notre Dame. You know both teams intimately. Who's going to win?
I do know both teams intimately, and I've been saying they were going to make the championship game. So I've been really spot on up till now. I think Notre Dame's going to figure out a way. I love their coach.
Of course, right? And their quarterback.
And their quarterback. If he rushes for 35 yards, they win every time. Ohio State's the better team, but Notre Dame, they've got this Newt Rockney thing going on. Come on, what's Rudy? I mean, I'm going to pull for Notre Dame. I'm going to say Notre Dame's going to cover, and I just hope it's one of those games that we want to talk about in months, years to come. I think it's going to be a great game, but the point spread's too high, and I think they're starting to bet Notre Dame, but both teams deserve to be there, and it's going to be a heck of a game.
Hopefully it's an instant classic. We have many instant classics right here at the Great Race Place. Before I let you go, one more reminder. Coast to Coast Pick 5 on Friday. I paid $15,000. Yesterday I paid in excess of $4,000. Kick things off today. Dollar minimum, low 15% takeout. Gulfstream Park, race number 9, 1:20 p.m. Pacific time. As you can see, 3 Santa Anita races in today's Coast to Coast Pick 5. Hope you enjoyed this fast-moving show, everybody. Good luck this afternoon. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Fake Miramati, updating us with any changes. Good luck and have a great time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good morning and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, the turf is firm. Here are the changes. The track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. The first race is the start of the early pick 5. Number 4, Wild Rover Lady. Make the jockey Diego Herrera. Diego Herrera rides number 4 in race 1. In the second, scratch number 3, I Light. Note that number 4, Morning Addiction, now ridden by Armando Ayuso. In the third, just a blinker note. In the fourth, number 1, Why Behave. The jockey is Billy Anton Georgie. Scratch number 8, Poker Alice. Race 4, scratch the 8. The fifth has a middle pick 4. Scratch 1, Tiama. Scratch 3, My Little Runaway. Scratch 4, Ivory Moon. Race 5, scratch numbers 1, 3, and 4. In the 6, number 2, Affair, the jockey is Flavien Prat. Flavien Prat rides number 2, Affair. We do have a $52,000 carryover in the pick 6. It starts with the 6th. Race 7, number 4, Triple Diamonds, the jockey Umberto Rispoli. Race 7, number 4, Umberto Rispoli. Late pick 5 and $3 all-turf pick 3 both start with the 7th. The 8th is the La Cañada. Just a blinker note. Late pick 4 starts in the 8th. The 9th, the La Cienegas grade 3 event. Number 5, Marais Girl. The jockey is Mike Smith. Scratch number 7, Hamwood Flyer. $3 late pick 3 starts with the 9th. In the 10th, number 6, Epion. The jockey is Diego Herrera. 7, Ultimate Authority regularly races with Lasix. Late double starts with the 10th. And in the 11th, we offer super high 5-way dream number 10, Gray Thunder. The jockey, Tiago Pereira. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first is in 26 minutes at 11:30. Coast to Coast Pick 5 is offered today, every Saturday and Sunday, and for the next 2 Fridays, we have the Coast to Coast Pick 5 combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park. And then don't forget, tomorrow is Dollar Day, special holiday racing tomorrow. $1 beers, $1 sodas, and $2 hot dogs.